Let's go into the Suns and Nuggets. We'll probably touch on this like a bit because it's basically been one-sided so far through two games. Game
Yes.
one, 122 to 105 for the Suns. Game two, 123 to 98 for the Phoenix Suns. What can I say about this series? Because from the Phoenix standpoint, it's just Chris Paul, Devin Booker, do your thing, ball
Yeah.
screens, have Devin Booker come down, pin down screens, and let him work. And how the Nuggets have been playing them in ball screens is basically like trap the ball handler, play their bigs high on a screen, and this just has opened up shots like passes inside to DeAndre, A10, A10, and corner shooters. I have to say A10 because I know people care about the a lot about that. So, anyways, but yeah, the way that the Suns have been generating their offense, it's really just basic basketball offense and basic basketball reads. So, and they're doing a good job at that.
I I think that one of not the biggest, but one of my favorite things that has kind of shifted for the Suns in this series is Bridges, where Bridges has kind of went off in this series. And I think that the scoring of the Suns has been extremely interesting in the sense of like looking at their total point numbers for the Suns in the first two games. Booker 39, Bridges 39, Chris Paul 38, Aiton 35. So like you're getting a lot of production from your starters, and it's not even like crazy production where Devin Booker, your star of your team, is averaging 19.5 points in this series. So like they're putting up over 120 points and it's a team effort. Like,
Mm.
and I think the cool thing about Bridges is that Bridges against the Lakers had a total of, let me find it, 56 points. So in 6 games, he only had 56 points. In 2 games, he has 36. So I think Bridges struggled against the Lakers, and that could just be this is his first time in the playoffs. And he kind of has to find his rhythm. And in against the Denver Nuggets, he's hit his stride, and you kind of, if he's on like the way he's been, I think they're going to be a lot harder to beat because if he's always going to be locked in defensively, and if he's as good as he is on defense right now, he's pretty scary man to play against.
I love Bridges. I think he was in for a really big year this year. Turned from a 3 and D guy to now I feel two-way player.
Yeah.
Um, and he's just been that good, glue guy for this team. For the Nuggets, it's kind of been sad. So, uh, what the Suns basically did is what the Blazers did was just, let Jokic work, but we're gonna take away his playmaking. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
stick on everyone else. Big man, go have a ball against DA. They
Yeah.
will try and help DA if maybe Jokic gets to step, but ultimately they want to take away that playmaking. They don't want to help too much so that it opens up a pass and it opens up an open shot. And Compazzo in game two, 3 points, 1 for 7. Michael Porter Jr., I think he's dealing with an injury, like some sort of back injury or something. I
Something's
forget.
nagging him. Yeah.
Yeah, something's nagging him. 3 for 13 shooting, 11 points. Austin Rivers, 6 points, 2 for 5 shooting. Game. Uh, uh, they did get production from Will Barton and Paul Millsap, 10 points for Barton and 11 points for Millsap. But it's just like they need more. And I feel like this is the series where not having Jamal Murray is really gonna bite them, and I think that's
Oh
being
yeah.
felt right now because they need that sort of secondary score to just take off. And Jamal Murray has proved that it's weird. He's more built for the playoff. He plays within the team system, which is good for him. So he'll average like 18 and like 6, 7. I don't remember off the top of my head the stat line, but he'll average something like that as the offense flows through Jokic. But he will go off in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he will dominate in the playoffs, and that's where the Suns need right now because they can't really match the Phoenix Suns offense. So they need someone from their offense to step up. That was supposed to be Michael Porter, but it's like the injuries kind of nagging him. So he's not going to really be a big threat. So Jokic had 24, 13, 6. Congrats to him for MVP. Well
Yeah.
deserved. Glad that he's the first big man in a long time to win an MVP. Couldn't he's the best player on this team. He is the most valuable
Oh yeah.
player. I don't know what more. If you're saying anything else, I don't know what to tell you. Just having been watching this Denver Nuggets team, he is the main focal point of this team. Without him, who knows where this Nuggets team will be? Definitely not the playoffs. But he had a Jokic type game, 24, 13, 6. But they need someone else. They need someone else.
I think that's the thing. Like in the playoffs, a team can crack down on Jokic, right? And kind of take away his playmaking ability. And that's what you saw Portland try to do. That's they tried to do it and were unsuccessful. And the Suns, a much better team than the Trailblazers, is doing it and is being successful. And so this is where Jamal Murray would have 30 points. This is where he would go off, similar to last year, where he's going off in like him and Donovan Mitchell had an amazing battle where they were going 50 for 50 in the playoffs in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. And then against the Clippers, he's going off in these fourth quarters and playing amazing. So you can, when Jokic is so good that you have to focus so much of your defense on him. And that's why in the playoffs, Murray can just kind of go off because he can create his own shot. Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. just not
I
creating
can't.
their own shot
I
the
can't
way
really
Jamal
blame
Murray
Michael.
can. No, I can't either.
Yeah.
Like he's like also very young. Not everybody is can come out and be the leader of a team at such a young age on their rookie contract. Like I feel like we've come to expect because we're so not blessed, but like given players like Donovan Mitchell and Luca. Like these are players who right off the bat carry their teams. Like Jason Tatum. Like these are players that did not need time to develop to get into the NBA swing of things. So it's kind of I feel like we're expecting so much of Michael Porter Jr. and he's what like in year 2 or 3 but sat out the first year. So like I'm okay with him not being the second best player on his team right now because he's young, but he has the skills to be that. And that's kind of the disappointing thing with him.
Well, I mean, he averaged like 19 points, 7 assists this season. Really good numbers for what his second year in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of faith in Michael Porter. That's like really good numbers for in his second year.
Oh yeah.
Um, I do want to say like he has proved that. Like there are games that he just been hot,
Oh
coming off
yeah.
screen, shooting, cutting, getting the ball, making his own shots. Like he has so much potential as an overall scorer. It's
Yeah.
scary how good this guy is. And at some point, it's gonna be a battle between Murray or Porter on who's who's gonna be the second guy and stuff, which is not a
Yeah.
bad problem. The more the merrier for scores. But like, he's not having a good series now. It's kind of having a he had a good sort of game one, game two, not really, but I do feel maybe that injury's nagging him, and the defense has to get better for him. I feel,
His
but
defense has proved a lot from last year. Like
still
he's
somewhat.
better.
But you know, work in progress as a
That's a
player.
work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have stock in him though.
I have a lot. I love Michael Porter Jr.
I mean, who
I
doesn't,
think
man?
I think I think like this whole Jamal Murray or him idea, I feel like they can both be option B behind Jokic. Like,
But you also gotta like remember too. Also for people is that they're both playing like within the Nuggets system. The
yeah.
system flows through Jokic. Jokic helps generate those shots. They get the ball moving. They get Porter working off screens and all that. So the offense, they just get their offense through what the system gives them, and they've been good at that. So, but now I think this Nuggets team, their season is most likely done. I-
This this
They're
is this
they're
is
outmanned right now.
this is literally a series where Jamal Murray just hurts them. Like that's about it. Like when you're playing against like there are teams that when you start the NBA playoffs, you know they're NBA contenders. The Trailblazers were not one of them. The Suns are. And the Nuggets are a fringe between that. With Jamal Murray, they're contenders. Without, they're not. And I think that's the simple aspect of this series.